Okay, welcome to the regular council meeting for Monday, November 10th. I would like to start by acknowledging that we are gathered here on the unceded traditional territory of what is now known as the Comox Nation, and we are grateful for their grace and collaboration as we do this good work on their lands. Could I have a motion to approve the agenda, please?
So moved.
Thank you. That's carried unanimously. And there are minutes from Committee of the Whole October 14th, Committee of the Whole October 27th, and regular council October 27th. Oh, and also committee minutes for Information Advisory Planning Commission October 9th.
Move the minutes. Second.
Thank you. And everyone's in favor of that too. Unfinished business, Lush Valley Action Society. So we had a presentation from Lush Valley, some at a council meeting before this.
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago, and they presented an excellent piece of work called Building Capacity for Food Systems within Emergency Planning. And there's a recommendation coming back from staff on that, if anybody would like to move it.
Well, I'll move that the Village of Cumberland continue to work with the Comox Valley Food Policy Council to review and, where feasible, implement policy tool recommendations outlined in the report, Building Capacity for Food Systems Within Emergency Planning, an investigation for the Village of Cumberland.
Seconder?
Second.
Thank you. And all in favor? Thank you for that. And Coal Hills BMX came to us maybe at that same meeting or maybe at a different meeting prior to this meeting to ask us about a proposed track expansion to allow more riders, I think, to participate in the sport. And there are recommendations there if anybody has questions or comments, or if anyone wants to move any of those recommendations.
Yeah, I would be in favor of allowing them to expand their track. The presentation they gave suggested that it would all be within their currently agreed on area. They're going to upgrade the little trail that runs behind it. They've been a great community partner. I don't see any problem.
That'd be my position too.
Me too.
Okay.
Okay.
I will move that council approve the BMX track extension and direct staff to enter into an addendum agreement to the existing license agreement to formalize approval and authorize the CAO to execute the amendment.
Do we
I
have a
think I
seconder?
got the right one, right?
Yeah.
You did?
Yep.
Second. Oh, sorry.
All in favor? No one's opposed. Okay, and lastly, on the follow-up recommendations is BC Shellfish Growers Association. They also came at a previous meeting and presented their concerns about wastewater and looking for a partnership with the village to do some testing. And there's a recommendation there, if anyone would like to move it. Or if there are questions, happy to take questions too.
I'll move the council direct staff to review the request brought forward and respond to the BC Shellfish Growers Association once commissioning of the wastewater treatment facility has been completed.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? And that is carried. Correspondence, Vancouver Island Regional Library 2026 board appointment. Do we need to talk about that? I mean, sorry. I believe Councillor Ward is the current delegate to the library board, and I believe he is willing to continue that.
That's correct.
So unless anyone else really wants that, who's the alternate?
Is it me?
I think you're, yeah, Councillor Barecki. So if everyone's fine with that, I think there's a motion there.
Move the council appoint Councillor Ward as trustee and Councillor Barecki as alternate trustee to the Vancouver Island Regional Library Board for 2026.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? And that's carried. Thanks for doing that, Councillor Ward. And next up is Heritage Alteration Permit 2687 Penrith for referral. Hello, Courtney.
Okay, good evening, Mayor and Council.
Jasmine, you're
Jasmine is
taller.
away, so I'm presenting her report tonight. So this report requests a referral to the Heritage Committee for a heritage alteration permit application at the Abbey, 2687 Penrith Avenue. The proposed development is removal of portion of the fence on First, and addition of a new wooden gate to create a residential access to the rear yard, installation of a new portion of the fence matching the existing fence, and a new metal gate to secure residential access at the street frontage, and lastly, installation of a divider to separate the commercial and residential deck space. Now, this application meets the criteria for a minor HAP that can be delegated to staff, as HAP for fencing is specifically listed in the procedures bylaw as being a minor HAP. However, myself as the manager delegate would like input from the Heritage Committee on the design, and there's not yet a mechanism for staff to refer a heritage alteration permit direct to the Heritage Committee. This is planned, to change to the terms of reference of the Heritage Committee is planned for early 2026 in conjunction with the Development Approvals Modernization Phase 3 project, and at that time we'll ask Council to consider that change. But with the way it is now, I'd have to bring it to Council to allow for the referral to the Heritage Committee. So the deck repairs, deck repairs were completed earlier under a building permit, and they were exempt from requiring a HAP. That was repairs to an existing deck. And now this application being considered is for a new fence and gate, and a HAP is required for those. The applicant removed a portion of the existing fence and installed a new wooden gate in its place to create residential access to the rear yard. And then a new fence matching the existing one was added, along with a metal gate. So, in response to initial staff feedback regarding the design of the new fence in relation to the Heritage Conservation Area guidelines, the applicant has made an alternative proposal to staff involving installing a picket-style fence that would be consistent with a historical railing design and would meet the heritage, potentially meet the heritage conservation guidelines. We'd have to review the proposal. But instead of revising the proposal in advance of this council meeting, the applicant is waiting for additional feedback, is hoping for additional feedback from the Heritage Committee, which then may result in further changes to the design. So basically, just, the applicant is interested and willing to adjust their proposal to meet the heritage guidelines, but is felt that feedback going to the Heritage Committee and getting feedback from the Heritage Committee would help to fine-tune that revised proposal. So the recommendation is for referral of this application to the Heritage Committee.
Okay, thank you so much. Questions, Council?
Yeah, can I ask, once referred to the Heritage Committee, because you noted you don't, staff don't have the ability to make that referral without council, does the Heritage Committee's recommendation then come back to staff who can then proceed with delegated authority without further council input?
Thank you. That is a great question. In fact, this is our first scenario such as this. I am asking council for a decision on the application. So under the procedures bylaws, the opportunity for the delegate to sort of not accept the delegation, I guess, to take it to council instead. So that's the path I would like to take in this one, to come back to council for the decision. Because I think that's the most, my interpretation of the procedures bylaws, that is how it has to unfold with the way it is now, with council needing to direct referral to the Heritage Committee.
Yeah, because a referral says, tell us what you tell us, not.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Questions? Any other questions?
Well, then
Sorry, the picture that's here, this is what's currently there right now. Is that correct?
Photograph on the second page of the report?
Yeah.
Proposed, that's correct.
It's titled proposed development, but it's
currently there, that's correct.
that is, and so the proposed development is, I'm a bit confused.
So is this a retroactive application? Is I
I
think
see,
the
it's a
question.
retroactive application for this,
Yeah.
to approve what's basically there.
That's correct.
Okay.
But there's a piece of the fence that's gonna be taken out though, right?
No, they're replacing
it's
the
all
gate,
been done.
changing the gate. Is that-
there was just a little section to the right of the gate there that was gonna
It's hard to explain, but in that photograph on the second page of the report, there's a little call out and an arrow pointing downwards. It says fence removed and gate added. So the portion of the fence that's removed is described in the report isn't visible from the street. But it was part of explaining the whole
I
project.
see.
Right.
But I think I would see that whilst the applicants, you know, made a change and then it's come to their attention they need this permit, and now they're asking for input from the and open to input, sorry, from the Heritage Committee. Then the proposal we actually get back may be different again. So so to that end, I'm comfortable not to worry about what's here because it's what will come back after Heritage Committee advice that I would be wanting to discuss and consider.
My concern with this is this is not actually changing anything structurally with the building. And so, again, with the heritage alteration permit process, it seems onerous to me that this gets referred to a committee and then comes back to council, and it takes all that time to do that just for a fence that is fine. And I think this is what I struggle with the HAP is this is not changing the building. The building is still a heritage building, and this owner has found a way to adapt the use of this building and create multiple uses for the property. And that's exactly what we want to be encouraging with the heritage alteration permit. So anyway, I think it's important for the Heritage Committee to understand that that council potentially is okay with these quirky uses of these buildings. We want them adapted. We want them used in different ways. We like oddities like that in the community because it makes it interesting and not the same. But if the owner is willing to go through the process with the Heritage Alteration Committee and is willing to do that work, then I have no problem referring it. But it seems like a lot for
Gate.
it's just a gate. It's like a gate and a fence. The fence has been there for a really long time. Yeah.
Does that fence meet zoning heights and,
All that.
Yes,
yes.
meets the zoning height.
What happens if we don't refer it to the Heritage Committee? Do we have an option tonight to just say, meh, it's fine?
If you don't refer it, you can issue the permit, but there is a discussion in the report that it doesn't meet the Heritage Conservation Area guidelines for fences. So I would recommend if you do want to issue the permit tonight that you have a discussion for the record that would explain how you think it does meet the guidelines. So it certainly has happened before that council could have a different interpretation of the guidelines than staff. That's acceptable. It would just be recommended that that's explained. So how this, as shown, actually does meet specific guidelines, and I could help you identify those guidelines if needed.
Right. And so part of that would be the removal of the metal gate and the installation of a picket wooden gate. Is that what's been suggested so far? Is that the non-conforming part, is the metal gate or the picket fence?
I think the picket fence is the good thing.
So the alterations, although they appear minor, just looking at the report, change the overall visual appearance and character of the building. And the general design guidelines and the Heritage Conservation Area state the commercial appearance of a building street level should not be significantly altered from its original form. And as it is, the fence introduces a visual and spatial separation
Yeah.
between the commercial and the other parts of the building. And And the guidelines about fences specifically say that a fence should have a historic appearance, but the newly installed fence doesn't comply with that guideline, as the new section is like matching an older fence that is part of the yard, but now the new fence, which was beside the building, now the new fence is in front of the building, so interrupting that view from the street to the building. And it is not consistent with the current character of the building or any of the historic fences that have been in place at the time, in the past. So, for example, a wooden picket fence is suggested as something that would be more historically appropriate.
And so then if they go back to, if they go to Heritage Committee, is the Heritage Committee going to say, well, none of your fence conforms, so now you need to fix the fence that goes entirely around the yard and turn it into a picket fence? Or
That's
some
my
such
worry.
thing?
Yeah, I don't see, they don't require an application for that fence. That's already there.
It's
That's not
already
subject
done.
of that application, so
Okay.
that wouldn't be recommended
Okay,
by
so it would just
staff.
be the gate and the existing, or the fence that's been changed.
That's correct.
Okay. Okay, council,
Yeah.
what do you think?
I like the gate.
I like the gate. I just see this.
I guess this
I mean,
feels really
I
opiniony.
understand being on the Heritage Committee. I understand the basis of this. Overall, that gate is a very small part of the entire building, and what it's allowing them to do is have a little more privacy and allow the rest of the structure more public use, which is consistent with what we want to do with historical pieces like this. So I don't know. I can see us debating this on the Heritage Committee, but I don't find that gate terribly offensive, personally. I don't
Yeah.
Fence looks like it's been there 100 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
I wonder if she's willing to do, to put the wooden gate in that's in the photo on the page 33 of 51, sorry.
Well, again, that gate exists, doesn't it? That's just another gate that's somewhere else on the property, isn't it?
But it's
That's correct.
it's a demonstration of a picket
Yeah.
gate versus the black metal gate. And if she's already said she would do that, and that would then allow it to fit the guidelines? No?
I think it's the fence itself as well as
Oh, it's the
existing
fence,
is the
yeah.
concern about the guidelines.
If my
And-
reading is sorry,
Yep.
apologies. If my reading is correct of that final, the applicant has proposed installing a picket-style fence consistent while retaining the metal gate.
Oh, I see.
So in other words, the bit of fence that's been moved around, change that to look like the rest of the deck, but keep the black metal gate.
And
Yes.
maybe I just want to point out that since that it might, put this in context with other applications for heritage alteration permits, since the procedures bylaw was changed in the end of 2023 that created this category of minor HAPs that are delegated to staff. 50% of HAP applications you haven't seen. They've been issued by staff. That's 5 out of 10. Or 4 out of 8. I can't remember now. So there's been, quite a significant change made overall for a much smoother process for all of the other relatively minor HAPs. This is one that didn't easily enough fit into that category.
Yeah.
I'm really torn here because it's really minor. Also, it does change the way that building looks from a street, and it changes the heritage aspect. And we've just been discussing that whilst the HAP tends to apply to empty lots and new builds as well, what we really, really want to protect is the look and appearance of our historic buildings. So I'm torn in that way. And also that staff had the authority to just say, this is minor, I'm going to say yes, and chose to bring it to us asking for more guidance and more advice. And that leaves me sort of personally, I think, minded to grant that, or to be in favour of staff's request to cover the uncertainty, especially as the applicant has said they're also open to that input.
Yeah, I don't, if the owner is not kerfuffled about this, then maybe we don't need to be either. I think I just wanted to make the point that this is not, it's changing the look of the outside of the building, but it is, again, enabling reuse and creatively of a historic building, which is what we're looking for, and it has not changed the historic building at all. That historic building remains in place. And that's what I struggle with. But I'm happy to go with the will of council. What do you guys think? To refer or not to refer?
Might I just,
yeah,
make a
if
point
we-
of clarity? If I had two options. One was to deny the permit or to bring it to council. So just a point of clarity, is that
Right.
because my interpretation is it doesn't meet the guidelines. So
Right.
if it remained delegated to me, I would have denied it.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel comfortable doing that without Heritage Committee input and then having council view it as well.
Okay.
Well, thank you for that. Well, on that basis, I'll call the question and then we can find what council's will is. I'll make the recommendation that council refer the heritage application permit HAP 2502 application for the property described as Lot 12, Block 3, District Lot 21, Nelson District Plan 522 or 2687 Penrith Avenue to the Heritage Committee.
Second.
All in favor?
Go with it.
There you go.
Well, we're going to
Thank
talk
you.
about it again. So
We
yeah.
will talk about it again.
twice.
And we'll see what they
like
say. I
the
mean, it'll be interesting to see, too, what the Heritage Commission
This will
thinks.
be a learning moment.
So,
Well,
thank you for that, Karen. Up next is Cumberland Forest Land Strategy Memorandum of Understanding and Financial Plan Amendment. Hello, Kevin.
All right, good evening. A little bit of background. As you're aware, this project has been going on now for over a year, and it's taken a bit of time to get to the starting line as we work closely with the project partners to try and find something that works well for everybody, because it's lots of different moving pieces. Back in May, council approved entering into an MOU for a same but different project to just complete a management direction statement for the park, which would also consider a small piece of land subject to acquisition by the Community Forest Society. And we got rolling in that process in June, which around the same time the Community Forest Society also approached council in a closed session specifically in regards to their acquisition plans, when they also made the request to expand the planning area to consider lands beyond what we had previously discussed being included in the management direction statement. So council asked staff to look into this at this time, and now back in a public report, we're reporting out on what that process looked like, which included some extensive deliberations with the Community Forest Society, United Riders of Cumberland, and the Comox Valley Land Trust. And so what's in front of you is a proposed MOU that would be for an area much larger than the park, that specifically includes areas that are of overlapping interest to both UROC, who hold a license agreement for managing trails on those lands, as well as areas that are targeted for acquisition by the Community Forest Society. So the MOU intends to clarify the roles and responsibilities of each partner. The village would maintain the lead in this process. We would be looking at cultural and ecological values of these lands in addition to recreation. There's a defined project schedule as well as funding contributions, which include contributions from each partner, which differ from the management direction statement, but still required a top up from the village through the discussions with the other organizations. And it also includes some public engagement with an open house and a commenting period once a draft strategy is made or is available. And then this proposed strategy would essentially act as the Cumberland Community Forest Management Plan for the next 10 years. So that's been the last 2-3 months of work to bring council up to speed, and I'll pass it back to you.
Thank you very much. Questions, council?
Just more of a comment. Excellent work on this. There's such a increased pressure, or not pressure, but use of the trails, and particularly with the land-based expansion, and there's more users. I commend you in getting ahead of the ball on this one. I think if you don't expand the MOU like you had, you'd be setting yourself up for more trouble in the future. So, not trouble, but more challenges in the future. So this is really valuable. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Same, yeah. I think a comprehensive look at all of these lands as a unit, because when people think of, the Cumberland Forest, they think of much more than just beyond our forest boundaries out there. And it's nice to see the other organizations putting a little skin in the game as well, and coming along and supporting this. So, yeah, I'm in favor of this all the way.
Yeah. Anybody else?
That's my comment.
No, I appreciate the update, and I also appreciate the open house. I think that will be helpful for a variety of reasons. In particular, just distinguishing what is the park, what's not the park, who manages what, and all of that. My only question is that this will leave our reserve at a pretty low amount of $17,000, and so I imagine after this work is completed, there's a whole bunch of implementation work that needs to happen. And where does that money come from?
That's a good question. It's a bit premature to answer because we haven't defined the scope of any works. There has been some preliminary discussions with the partners who are quite excited about opportunities to take on some of the work, including in the park. But the nature of kind of joint or three-party partnerships is really what needs to kind of be resolved before we can do that. So I don't think I could say with any certainty that any one project would necessarily fit that criteria. We have some ideas, but there's definitely been discussions around a collaborative approach to resourcing projects. And I think, we would likely need to be part of that, but hopefully if we're a contributor and not the full funder, makes it more affordable to the village. It's a challenge with any of these master plans in how do you balance the vision you want to see with the uncertainty as to what resources might be available to get to that vision, and then what's the timeline. And I think if we use Lake Park as an example, we do one step at a time. The master plan maybe was bold and ambitious, but we're now 12 years out and we're really seeing it come through to fruition. And I think with the community forest or village park or any of our parks for that matter, that's probably the best approach we can take.
Yeah. First, we have to.
Sorry, can I jump in on the reserve, though? That is just the parks portion of that general asset reserve. So your general asset reserve is actually...
actually
it's not-
applies.
yes. So there's several different types of assets that are in that general asset, and the parks is the one... the parks is the one thing that you haven't started contributing to yet. So we need to bring that information to you and start to get you to think
We
about
need to
that.
start putting some money in there.
That's right.
But I think there's also a lot of opportunities for grants for particular projects once we have that. Like, you're right, you have to dream the plan first and then find the money to make it so. So thank you for this. There's a recommendation there, I think.
Move the
Council?
council approve the Cumberland Forest Land Strategy Memorandum of Understanding between the Village of Cumberland, Cumberland Community Forest, United Riders of Cumberland, and Comox Valley Land Trust, as attached to this report dated October 29th, 2025. And that this new MOU replace the previously approved MOU for the collaborative development of a Cumberland Community Forest Management Direction Statement approved on May 12th, 2025. And that council approve the expenditure of an additional $9,000 to be funded from the General Asset Reserve Parks Improvement for a total contribution of $51,000 to the project, and direct staff to bring forward an amendment to the adopted 2025-2029 financial plan bylaw to reflect this expenditure.
Second.
All in favor? And none opposed? That's carried. 2026 to 2030 5-year financial plan. You want to, yeah.
Yeah, I'll just quickly speak to this. These are all of the motions that you made at your committee of the whole budget meeting. And I just want to draw your attention definitely to the tax increases at I think it's on the top of page 70 of your agenda. And so it's just slightly different. There was some cumulative issues that wasn't taken into account during the meeting. And then at the very end, there is the biggest difference. I had told you 5.02% increase. It's actually 6.11% increase. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention. But these are all the motions that you made, and I will ask you to use the council report to make the motions, because the one in the agenda didn't get updated with the council report. So you have to use the council report motion, not the agenda.
In the package.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you want them all read completely? We can't move as the report.
Rachel's shrugging.
What do you?
I can do an
We
auctioneer
could
recommendation.
move it as stated in the report, in the agenda package, not on the agenda item. Okay. But first, I'm confused. One of the I know we made these recommendations, and I know I agreed to them at the time, but now I'm confused about one. So the one that says that council move the unfunded non-market housing strategy in the amount of $120,000 in 2028 from the request projects removed during director review. What are we doing there? Are we taking it out? Are we putting it somewhere else?
So it was actually removed. It was showing as being removed from the director team, and then during the meeting, Courtney had clarified that actually was supposed to be fixed. It was supposed to be recommended. It's still unfunded, by the way.
Right.
She's
But
she's
we're-
going to look for grants, but you're just taking it and putting it into the financial plan by using this motion.
That's what I was hoping. Okay. And the other thing I just wanted to mention for the public's knowledge, we have reduced our contribution to our policing reserve because we have been, this council and previous councils have been advocating to the Minister of Safety and whatever their full name is, that are responsible for policing, for several years to ease transitions for communities that are approaching 5,000. When your community hits 5,000, you go from paying 30% of the policing costs to paying 70% of the policing costs. And the province has since, because of that advocacy and other communities also advocating for this, the province has told us that they will ease that transition for us. So we believe we have sufficient money in the reserve without this contribution, and that we can use this contribution to do things now in the community, because what we've been doing over the past, I don't know how many years, 2016, since 2016, so 10 years, we've been taking all of our growth taxes and putting them into a reserve for our future policing costs. And that is very good fiscal management, but we thought we would transition at the last census, and we didn't. So we've got this 4 extra years, and we have a very healthy reserve that will help mitigate that tax increase when it does happen. I just want people to understand why we're reducing that contribution. So there's a recommendation there.
Okay.
Can
Well,
I move that we, how do we do this? Recommend that council approve all of the recommendations as presented in the report dated October 28th, 2025.
Second.
And everyone, all in favor? No one's opposed. That carries unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you.
That worked.
Council meeting calendar. So,
Okay, I can just
Looks
make
good to me.
It's pretty standard
It's
for
pretty
what
much the same.
council, our usual calendar. I'll just note that for approval is the written out one. It's not the sort of calendar, the monthly calendar version. That's for convenience. And that monthly calendar does, what is different about it, it does show the voting days in October for the
Right.
election. It also shows the orientation days at the beginning of November, and strategic planning days. So those aren't in the official regular council meeting calendar. Also, there was an error in the report that talked about the second village hall. It is actually proposed at June 1st rather than the first meeting in May, which is typical. We usually have one in June.
Oh, okay.
Outside, that's the outdoor one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You
Great.
need an amendment for that, or is that just?
No.
Okay.
No, she's got it. Okay, so there's a recommendation there unless anybody wants to dramatically change our schedule.
I don't think we're allowed to move the voting days.
We're
No.
not allowed to move the voting days. No. No.
I'll recommend that council approve a 2026 council meeting calendar and that council direct staff to give public notice of the calendar.
Second.
All in favor of that, and that's carried unanimously. And next up is council member monthly reports. Any questions or comments on those? And hearing none, there's a recommendation
Busy
to just receive those.
Move receipt of the monthly reports.
Second.
All in favor, and that's carried too. And next up is the big kahuna, the official community plan bylaw, 12/30/2025, first and second readings. And we just spent 2 hours talking about this, but please do, Courtney, come and tell us a bit more about this. So this will be I think the third time council's seen the official community plan. And in the committee of the whole that we just finished, we went through all of the community feedback that was provided. So I just want to take a minute to thank everyone who was involved in that feedback from the community. This isn't just a council document. This is the vision for the future of Cumberland and how we develop. So we very much need your input on these things, and we appreciate all those people who did contribute to that. And with that, I will turn it over to Karen, the OCP master.
Okay. I'll just let you know we are just working on a couple of little technical details just for amendment to the bylaw. Just a couple technical mapping things. We're working on them as we speak, so we might just need a moment to finish that.
No
But
problem.
would you like sort of an overall presentation
Sure.
for this council meeting? Okay.
Yeah,
All
just to
right.
have it on the record.
Okay.
Great. Yeah. So, yeah. Amendment resolutions. Okay. Yeah, through the mayor and council. So this presentation is to provide you with the feedback that we received from the community through the open house that we held in September and virtual open house, as well as online comments that we received from the community and a number of email submissions. And the report, the attachment to the report includes the entire collation of all the comments that we've received, plus a short summary. So as a result of those submissions and also the council discussions on September the 2nd at your committee of the whole meeting, a number of changes were made to the official community plan that are also outlined in this report. Key ones are we did change some of the mapping, and with the goal to strengthen, in particular, environmental protection. So we did not previously show the eco-gift lands, village-owned lands, so that was an oversight on the Map B, Active Transportation Networks, Parks and Trails, and Conservation Lands. So those are our village-owned eco-gift lands are now shown as existing. We added a buffer to the Morrison Creek Headwaters Nature Reserve in northeast corner of the village. So there's a 30-meter buffer now from the property line onto the adjacent property, and the reason for that is that we learned that the property boundary of that reserve actually is midway on the slope of the escarpment, which is quite steep, subject to erosion and fairly sandy. So it's an area that is worthwhile considering as for further protection treatment if development proceeds on the adjacent property. Then we also changed the wetland layers. There was a member of the public identified wetlands in the Hidden Ravine, the north end of the Hidden Ravine, which we did change because we also had a biologist report that also supported that. So we can't generally change our aquatic ecosystem areas based on individual, even though very knowledgeable individual comments, but we also need a biologist report, which we do have due to the Coe Valley subdivision. So we're happy to have been able to fix that. Environmental protection DPA, so there was, we received some updates to the data there that change some of the terrestrial ecosystems or add some terrestrial ecosystems, mostly due to forest aging and then aging into the H class that is included in the terrestrial, one of the terrestrial ecosystem classes that deal with older second growth forests. There was a deletion of a stream that was mapped in the previous OCP along the Penrith Road extension. So that was deleted. The stream, in this case, was deleted due to having received a couple of biologist reports that an initial report as part of the water line that the village put in by a biologist, and then also a peer review of that report that confirmed there's no stream channel, defined stream channel. So even though it's important to preserve the water regime and the hydrology at the site, it doesn't meet the riparian area regulations of the province. So we did remove that stream, which does not mean that stormwater doesn't have to be adequately dealt with, which could, look also, and so, yeah, could use natural infiltration as well. We ended up, was a previous council discussion on whether the village should define specific buffers from its green spaces or environmentally valuable resources, and we have not made a change there for reason outlined in the report that we felt, staff felt it's every ecosystem and ecosystem values are so different, it's hard to establish a standard buffer, and develop with care we also see as a guideline, not a specific buffer. So it's still referenced as a guide or to be considered, but it's not. It's really that biologist report that we require as part of an environmental development permit that will identify buffers, restricted development areas. Groundwater protection, we did delete a couple of parcels that accidentally were included because they're industrial, but they're not actually overlying the aquifer, so that's the correction. But then we also added a couple of parcels directly south of Morrison Creek headwaters, nature reserve, that the groundwater feeds into Morrison Creek, which is protected habitat for the Morrison Creek lamprey, and that groundwater itself is considered part of that habitat because it feeds directly into the creek. So a special care has to be taken if development proceeds over top of those parcels. We made a few changes to land use designations, most notably we combined the previous commercial and industrial designations into one. We reviewed a bit more carefully what both of them permit, or the development intent and commercial included light industrial, some light industrial uses, and the industrial includes light industrial. And there's so many permutations of businesses now, we didn't want to be overly restrictive and not potentially require someone to do a land use a change, an OCP amendment, because they have some fairly unique or different business idea. So they're now combined into a single industry designation. And then the final distinction as to what uses are permitted will in the zoning bylaw. We did look again at the Bevan land use plan, and we included the migration corridor that it was already on map B, the Active Transportation Network Parks and Trails Conservation Lands map. We included that also now on map A, meaning we changed the designation from industry to working forest. It was tricky to do because it has to actually be precise on the ground. That's why we were hesitant previously, but we're at a better place to determine future subdivisions and where this can be aligned. We also changed the designation of the village forest lands from working forest to forest to parks, green waste, and open space, and that more closely aligns with the 2021 management direction statement for the lands, which cautions, takes a cautionary approach to the potential for any forest and silviculture activities on those lands. So if that is in the future desired by the village, then that would require an OCP amendment about the current use is more closely aligned to the parks, greenways, open space designation. We did add a couple properties on Royston Road to multi-unit residential. They are zoned manufactured home park, and the zoning is not proposed to be changed. A couple other existing manufactured home parks are also in multi-unit residential, so this is just to be consistent across the board in regards to manufactured home parks. We have not made any changes to the urban containment boundary, although there was recommendations by the Advisory Plan Commission to look at that again. At the open houses, we felt we did not receive comments on changing the boundary. It seemed to be generally, the public seemed to be supportive of having an urban containment boundary. Maybe they didn't get into the details of where and how it should look, but there was definitely support for it. So we did provide in this report a few options if you wanted to change the urban containment boundary, which was also discussed already at Committee of the Whole. And yeah, I think Heritage Conservation Area Guidelines, there's some tweaks that were discussed with the Heritage Committee to make sure the focus is more on character-defining elements when we're describing the types of residential buildings rather than on a particular style, which seems to lock things more into place. So it's really about, and there's so many permutation of different styles. So that was changed. Staff did remove the Schedule A, which was initially, or in the first draft, in the draft was added to the Heritage Conservation Area, and is a list of protected heritage properties. That came up fairly late in the process as part of a legal review and discussion with the Heritage Committee, but we felt we did not really have enough. We did not sufficiently consult with the community on that and engage the property owners and the community. Having a schedule is an advantage, and that council can really, it adds another layer of protection. It provides some benefits to the owners as well. If the building burns down, they can, even if it was lawful non-conforming, they can rebuild. They don't lose their lawful non-conforming status, so that's great. That's a big advantage. Also provides access to different areas, sections of the building code that deal with heritage buildings, but also does restrict, the council could restrict or prevent demolition. So we felt we need to discuss this engage the community more on that, and that could be part of a project we've already have in the work plan and in the budget, even though there may be other budget implications, but I can't speak to that right now, but where we can look at this more closely. And then maybe it's not a schedule of all the buildings that are older than 1930s, but it's maybe there's a few or a smaller list that might be appropriate. Yeah, there was a comment that we did not explicitly mention the importance of mountain biking in the village, so we had outdoor recreation was a more common terminology, so we did make sure that it's clear what that all includes. So made changes to that. Yeah, I think some questions.
Thank you. And yeah, go ahead. So I'll just we'll do questions or comments, I guess, from council. Even though we just spent a lot of time talking about that, the Committee of the Wholes are not recorded. So if anyone wants to speak to, I was specifically thinking about the conversation we had about the urban containment boundary and what we learned in that, and that we've looked to push that to the next OCP review. If you wanted to speak to that, Councillor Tyrion, or if anyone else has anything they want to bring into this meeting, including our new vision statement.
Sure. Yes, we had quite a robust discussion just at the Committee of the Whole this afternoon concerning the urban containment boundary, specifically the exclusion of the Hope Road and Mill Street area. And the discussion centered around why aren't these residential lots inside the urban containment boundary, basically. And what came of the discussion was that these lots are large, so they do not currently fit or not all of these large, yeah, this is where it gets confusing. Not all of these lots are of a large enough size that if we put them in the urban containment boundary, they would be affected by the new SMU regulations. So then we could see fourplexes popping up on some of the smaller ones of these. And we're not sure yet if that's where we want to go with this area. What was decided was to basically leave it excluded from the urban containment boundary with its current R3 designation, and have a more comprehensive look and specifically a discussion with the residents of this area of what they would like to see happening with these properties, and with an eye towards the next OCP amendment, which is going to be due within 5 years. Did that more or less
Yes.
encapsulate it?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Sorry, just add. It's really complicated and hard to get your head around. The impacts of including them or not including
Yes.
them are deep and many, and I think the residents deserve to have a deeper understanding and more input, and hence the 5 years. Yeah.
Agreed. They are rather large lots, and need some extra consideration. The only other thing I wanted to speak to in this meeting is the Sado House property, which I guess that's zoning. I'll wait till zoning and
That's
talk about it
coming
then.
up.
There's
Um,
a policy in the OCP, but
It's also in the OCP.
But
Anyway,
it's
the whole purpose of the change there is to protect that historic building. The village is not contemplating doing anything else except protecting that building. It needs to be pulled from the eco gift lands. Are they eco gift? Were they? No, they weren't. They're not eco gift. They were a nature gift or park gift, and so no one can look after that building because it's not legally sited and no one owns the land. The village owns the land and somebody else owns the building. So, and all of that is property related and purchase related, and that's why up to now it's been in a closed conversation. But in order for us to move forward with protecting this very important heritage building, we need to change the zoning and do that through the OCP and zoning bylaw. So that's why that is happening. Anything else we want to highlight that we talked about?
There was just the question about the MU2 and the
Yes.
ability to have an ADU in there, and staff informed us that if you are on those streets of Penrith, and this is the one I always forget, even at Derwent.
Derwent.
Okay. You have an MU zoning designation, you'll still be able to have an ADU, so that should quell those fears and that.
Yes. So thank you for the feedback.
One other important point that came up with the new landscaping bylaws that are on many of these MU2 properties, the landscaping bylaws do not trigger unless you are building a new unit.
So you're allowed to renovate your
Yes,
your
so you
house.
can do porch renovations, et cetera, other building permits without having to trigger all the landscaping bylaws.
So please do get a building permit.
Yes.
Okay.
One other thing,
Oh, yep.
just before we get to the motions, have we confirmed that we have considered this plan in conjunction with the financial plan and the liquid waste management plan? Was that in the reports, and how do we go about confirming that we have met those requirements?
yeah, most broadly, and perhaps Michelle can talk to that as well. The OCP does not, I have under financial implications, the OCP does not commit make any commitments to particular expenditures. So public, spending is still part of your budgeting process, and it just lays out a direction for potential possible projects. So you're not taking over some kind of financial liability as a result. Is that correct? Yeah. And then with regards to the liquid waste management plan, so I mean we're lucky in that we just have a draft update, and the recommendations that were in that draft and that went to council are already in the official community plan, so they're congruent.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. Yep.
Great. So there's a recommendation there, Council?
And do we want to
Oh,
talk
sorry.
about the vision?
Yes.
Oh, yes, the vision
Yeah,
statement, sorry. So we did some work on the vision statement, and is that on the screen for people to see, Rachel? Thank you. That we hope makes it more, feel more like Cumberland.
Yeah. You want to speak to the other mapping changes up there?
Oh, yeah, so that's right. So we also noticed, it came up thanks to a comment that we received, that properties located on Cumberland Road are shown here as interchange lands.
Oops.
Yes, so a couple of small properties. So I
that's
found
right.
the address 3550 Cumberland Road, and that should be residential large lot. And then for this BCE lot, which is a utility, so that is also not owned by, because the interchange lands also have a single owner. So that's really an industry use. So we're added some amendment resolutions to change the land use designation, and then also change the development permit area for the industry land. So if they were to sell that, redevelop, then they are under obligation to apply for a development permit.
Okay.
So to make these changes, the recommendation would be to give first reading as in the package, and then following what's on the screen, amend the bylaw, and then get as per the vision statement in the mapping, and then give second reading as amended.
Okay. Is anyone able to read that?
Well,
Do you want to email it to
It's
somebody?
done. Oh, no.
Oh,
I can move that council give first reading to official community plan bylaw number 1230/2025.
Second.
all in favor? And that's carried. And, oh, that's bigger.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
How good are your glasses, Councillor Tyrion?
Oh, there you go.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so there's the vision statement. So that, I think we can just say that council
As
amend.
presented.
Yeah, yeah.
Everybody
Okay,
read that
so let me,
online?
can I make that motion?
It can be all one motion.
Oh, okay.
Rachel, are you okay with that? Or do you, whatever you prefer?
As long as everyone's agreeable and you don't.
Ah, of course.
Maybe one at a time.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Okay. I'll move the vision statement as presented.
Second.
All in favor? Thank you.
I'll move that we amend map A, changing the land use designation of 3550 Cumberland Road, legally described as Lot A, District Lot 126, Comox District Plan, VIP 77356, PID 026007-258, from interchange lands to residential large lot.
Second.
And is everyone in favor of that? Yes, that's carried unanimously too.
I move that we amend the land use designation of property on Cumberland Road, legally described as part of Lot A, Section 36, Township 10, Comox District Plan 11052, included in Plan VIP 52361, PID 017412927 from interchange lands to industry.
Second.
All in favor? That's carried too.
Move that we amend map I, industry development permit area, by adding to the industry development permit area the property on Cumberland Road legally described as that part of Lot A, Section 36, Township 10, Comox District Plan 11052, included in Plan VIP 52361 PID 017412927.
Second.
Second, thank you. And all in favor? That's carried as well.
I'm on a roll here.
Last one.
Amending map J, forming character development permit areas by removing from DPA 8 interchange lands 3550 Cumberland Road and the property on Cumberland Road legally described as that of part of Lot A, Section 36, Township 10, Comox District Plan 11052.
Second.
All in favor? And those amendments are all carried.
We get them all?
Thanks, that's it, right? That's
Second
the end.
reading? Get second reading as amended?
Okay, and then there's, go ahead.
So that's what you need, is the second reading motion. Is that right?
Now,
Yeah.
yes.
Now, yes.
Do we have to say as amended?
Yes.
Okay,
So
I think
I'll move that council give second reading to the OCP bylaw as amended.
and then there's two more underneath that one. We need those two.
Second.
Oh, good,
Oh.
yes, and all in favor. We can do these separately too, sure.
Okay, and the council directs staff to schedule a public hearing for official community bylaw number 1230, and that council confirm that it has considered the official community plan bylaw 1230 in conjunction with its financial plan and liquid waste management plan.
Second.
All in favor? Okay.
Thanks. It was easier once I put my glasses on.
Yes, thank you for that, and thanks for bringing those amendments in such a timely fashion. Okay, zoning, now we're up to zoning bylaw number 1238, 2025 for first and second readings.
I gotta changing packages.
Yeah.
Are we on to part 5 yet? No, this is part 4, isn't it?
I think we are,
It is part 5.
yes, it is part 5.
It is part 5? Excellent. Yes.
So again, any comments that council wants to bring forward? We've seen this and discussed it and all the feedback provided. And I think we're ready to roll.
All right. I'll move the council give first and second reading to zoning bylaw 12.
Yep.
Oh,
Wait.
sorry.
Apologies.
We're going to amend this too.
That's right. Could I ask you just give first reading and then I can then explain the amendments after?
Okay. I move the council give first reading to zoning bylaw number 1238, 2025.
Second.
All in favor? That's first reading. And the amendments.
Okay, so the first one does involve some explanation. So this, something we discovered. Okay, so the first one is to recommend that in table 6.4, this is a change related to short-term rental accommodations, and this is because we noticed an omission. And so this was a topic that was discussed in the committee of the whole, but in the interest of time, I didn't sort of go over this small error that we now wanted to recommend is fixed. So this is about the requirement that the operator is present on site, which is in the current zoning bylaw, and the intent was that the new zoning bylaw, as the draft as presented, didn't intend to change that, but a small phrase was inadvertently omitted, which unintentionally did change that. So what we are asking councils to consider kind of adding that back in. So this is in the table about home occupations, about the operator restrictions, saying that by adding the phrase "and the principal resident is present" at the end of the sentence will correct that error. And I can read to you the full sentence there. Let me just do that. So then the full sentence would read, the home occupation must be operated by an individual whose principal residence is on the same lot as the dwelling unit associated with the home occupation, and the principal resident is present. So just to reiterate, this was just an error in carrying forward the current regulation to the new regulations in the bylaw.
Okay.
Do you want us to do both of these amendments at once there?
Right, and then the second one is this, as you did, I did explain in the committee of the whole today, there was a mapping error on Cumberland Road, 4620. It should have retained its heavy industry zone, but the map was changed to the service industry, so the amendment is to amend the map so it's given that heavy industry zone.
Question about it? Okay.
Can you read it?
Yep.
Can we,
oh, sorry.
actually, in light of our discussion in the committee of the whole, could we do those separately?
Sure.
Yeah, thanks.
All right. I'll move the council amend zoning bylaw number 1238, 2025 in table 6.42, the operator restrictions row under the short-term rental accommodation column by adding, and the principal resident is present at the end of the sentence.
I
Seconder?
Second.
And I
Okay.
just like to say, I understand the concern that it's hard to enforce, and we may well end up with people who say that they live there most of the time and don't, and then rent it completely. But I felt that could probably be handled, and so I'll not be supporting that. But I understand.
Sorry, I didn't catch the last.
So I'll be voting against this amendment.
Okay. So we have a seconder. All in favor of the first one? All opposed?
Yep.
Councillor Ward opposed. And then number 2.
Okay, I move the council amend zoning bylaw number 1238, 2025 Schedule A by changing the zoning from Service Industry 1, I1 to Industrial, I2 at 4620 Cumberland Road, legally described as Lot A, Section 25, Township 10, Comox District Plan 50023.
Second.
All in favor? And
And-
that is carried unanimously.
And finally, I move
Yep.
that council give second reading to zoning bylaw 1238, 2025 as amended.
Second.
All in favor? Wow. Think of all the time you guys will have now. Thank you. And thank you again to everyone who contributed to the OCP and zoning bylaw process. And thank you so much to staff for all their hard work on that. Next up is notices, motions, and announcements. And-
Nope,
we got
nope,
one
nope.
more
Oh,
here.
Another
oh,
bylaw.
Business license bylaw.
What did I miss?
Chris is
Oh,
here.
Jesus.
Chris is here.
Sorry.
Chris is
Business bylaw, not rushing it. So happy to see this on the agenda. Thanks, Chris. Come on up. I even read it and everything. And I just was like, nope, we're done.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Chris Baker, the manager of permits, licensing, and bylaw. And so we're here to propose a new business regulation bylaw. This has been a project that I understand has been going on for quite a while, and for some period before I was here. Hopefully I'll be able to answer all the questions that you have. I think maybe if there's more financial, Michelle might be able to answer, or I'll do my best. Andrew is coming, but yeah. Anyway, we'll do our best on the financial side of the questions. So the community charter enables council to regulate by bylaw businesses within the community. A level playing field for businesses in the community is an important part of supporting robust economic development. Currently, the Village of Cumberland Business Bylaw number 896 from 2009 regulates the administration of Cumberland's business licensing system. We are proposing to repeal the 2009 bylaw and replace it with the new bylaw. The development of this new bylaw incorporated feedback from from a survey conducted in 2024, and the results of that survey or a summary is attached to the report. The new bylaw aims to improve clarity for applicants and the business community to better align fees with the administration costs to the village, to increase fairness by creating tiers of fees that reflect the amount of work and inspections for different types of businesses, and to improve the process with updates for license changes, transfers, and the ability to delegate authorities to additional staff. So not only so not all of the approvals and suspensions, other processes have to be done by the CAO, which will allow for better workflows and continued service during vacations. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions that you have.
Okay, thanks, Chris. Questions, council? Comments?
But just a couple of very quick ones, I think. The application fees, I'm assuming that's just a one-time fee?
So there are a combination. Oh, the application fee, the one called an application fee, yes. Is a one-time fee, and then the yearly one is.
And then you pay the yearly amount each subsequent year.
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay, so
And the first year.
and the first year, of course. Yeah. And then I guess the follow-up question to that is: do existing businesses need to pay that application fee, or are they? No. They're already, so they're just going to be the yearly fee from there on in.
Yep, that's correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's just.
Go ahead. Do you have a question?
Yes, if I may. I really appreciate this as as a business owner and licensee. It's much clearer and all the work. In that capacity, I'm talking with others. The thing that matters about this is time. Time is money when you're applying for a business license and trying to open a business, and the processing times and getting to it. I note that you've got in here capacity as you previously did, but you mention it more fully for a temporary business license, and there was some of the feedback noted, asked whether is there a way that a business that believes it has checked all the boxes and sincerely swears to such, and that staff's first looks could be done very quickly to say, looks like this one's going to be fine, could be issued a temporary license on, very quickly within the week or so, and be able to get moving, knowing that if they've missed something or pieces that it all could grind to a halt.
Yeah, so that's I think there is language in there that sort of it allows for that to happen, so long as the thing that's still outstanding is not a safety concern and something like that. But yeah, it should help to speed things up.
Yeah, that's very much what I think that's good. We don't have to write that in. We don't have to. It's that if this gives the ability for that to happen, then I look forward to hearing from businesses that they were able to get up and running fast. Yeah. Thanks.
Any other questions or comments?
This is great.
I'm sure there's a couple businesses who are very happy with the quality of this new report.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The only suggestion I had was that we give some kind of indication on the application page or on the website of, please ensure that you give good lead up time, or this process could take up to a certain amount of time, so that people have an idea that they can't apply for a business license on Friday and get it for Monday, or some such thing. Even a rough estimate of the timeline, I think, would help people better understand that and ease frustration.
Yeah, that's good feedback. And we've been reporting, on the I think that was one
Yeah.
of the things that council asked about timelines for that reporting. And I'm really looking forward to, you know, operating with this new bylaw, continuing to better understand and then improve that process, and timing is definitely one of the things that we're going to be looking to continually improve. But putting it on the website's a great suggestion. And then
Great.
we'll be creating a new application form as well, and trying
Yeah.
to make it, you know, as easy to use, easy to follow as possible.
Awesome. And the other thing I just wanted to mention, there's feedback in the survey. So firstly, that we did a survey of all the businesses. I assume they all got it. Anyone who had a business license got this survey,
Yeah.
and only 20 out of probably over 100 chose to participate. So as always, your feedback is very much needed for us to make these decisions in a good way. So the 20 people, thank you so much for your input. And one piece of that input was, you know, it would be really great if the village directed a business association. So I just wanted to raise the fact that we did fund a business association for several years, and that it is, and that business association ceased to operate. And so I'm sure council would be quite happy to reconsider support for a business association should the business community organize themselves in a way that that they could find a way to represent the business community. I think that is a good need, or a good opportunity. And the other thing I wanted to mention is that we are also doing some work with the chamber to support our business community. So the village is supportive of the business community and continues to be, and we wish you all the best. And that's why we've done this great new update to our business license bylaw. Thank you for indulging me, and I think there's a recommendation there.
I'll move that council give first, second, and third reading of business licensing and regulation bylaw number 1239/2025. The council give notice on the village website of the proposed adoption of business licensing and regulation bylaw number 1239/2025, and an opportunity for persons to make representations to council. And that council give first, second, and third reading of fees amendment bylaw number 1242/2025.
Do we have a seconder?
Second.
And all in favor? That's carried unanimously. So now we're done. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Notices, motions, and announcements. Please do check the website to make sure these dates and times are accurate and that the meeting has not been canceled prior to attending. Advisory Planning Commission is Thursday, November 13th at 4 p.m. Accessibility and Inclusion Committee is scheduled for Monday, November 17th at 3 p.m. The 2026 Budget and Financial Plan Village Hall is Monday, November 17th. Last year we had one person attend. Please let there be more than one person attending our Budget Financial Plan Village Hall. And Homelessness and Affordable Housing Committee is Wednesday, November 19th at 9:30 a.m. And Heritage Committee is Thursday, November 20th at 4 p.m. Questions? We have an audience member. Do you have a question?
Thanks for hanging out.
Want to make one up? Anybody online got a question? Okay. Do, 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 do. No questions. All that. Well, we did get some questions at Committee of the Whole, so that's a
Yep.
thing.
I'll move adjournment.
Thank
Second.
you. Thank you. All in favor? That's
Opposed.
carried.